What's up, y'all? We are back today. I feel like it's been a long time for some reason. I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen y'all. Maybe because I posted the video so late last time. Because iMovie was whooping my ass. Like, it was beating my ass that Sunday. I could not get the video to go up. Well, not even get it to go up, but just I couldn't get it to save. Like, for some reason, iMovie was acting stupid, but I got the video up. If you didn't see it, go check it if you wanted to watch it. But that's up. But we are here for episode 11. Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and get right on into it. Thank y'all again for watching, as usual. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, do all that. Like I said, as always, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get that running. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this episode. Alright, so what we do is just get back from the ending of last week's episode, which was the auditions for the show. They basically continue and just have more auditions shown. There was a couple standouts, at least in this one there was a couple standouts. The episode last, I didn't see anybody that was worth watching. I'm like, why are they still showing this? But there was a girl that she ended up getting on Curtis. Curtis was feeling it, and she was cute. Like, everything she was doing, like, I could see why he was up and he was ready. Like, Curtis was ready and she was ready for him. So she gave him a nice little lap dance, gave him a little fun little show and whatnot. Everybody was feeling her. She was dope. But the one that stood out to me the most was the one with the tie-dye. I think she was wearing a skirt. I think she was wearing a skirt. She had like a tie-dye skirt on, like a blue tie. She was beautiful, and she could dance. Like, I could tell she was probably like she's either a stripper or she might be a trained dancer. I don't know. She was doing it for me. She was probably the only one that I seen that actually did something for me. Most of these girls look like some bootleg strippers. Like, I've seen some better strippers in the club. Like I've literally seen some better strippers in the strip club in Charlotte. But for the most part, I mean, they pretty much, it seemed cohesive. And in this moment, just from last week's episode, I wasn't really feeling the auditions. I'm like, eh. But this part, it was cool. They're trying to find a way to make some purpose of the show. But it's a little too late because we're already on episode 11. It's like, why were they not doing this at the beginning of the season? But one other thing that I wanted to point out, I noticed they kept playing the same verse of the song, which was Curtis's verse, which I ain't mad at because his verse is easily the best one, and it actually sounds like an actual song. It don't sound like some dudes are just trying to rap just because they got a song that they're trying to put on mainstream TV. Well, not even mainstream TV because this is not mainstream TV, but trying to put a song out to make it pop. Curtis actually sounds like an actual rapper. So I'm glad they continue to show that and continue to push that verse that he had, because it was nice. But they kept showing that one. I want to hear the song in full, so I might end up looking for that if it's out already. But if it's not, hopefully they'll show at least the music video whenever they finish shooting it, if they shoot it. But yeah, that's the end of the first part of the scene. Also, another notable moment before we go ahead and continue to watch. Milan ends up calling out Moolah and Curtis for giving out low scores to the guys. He said that they continue to give out low scores for the guys. Anthony agreed in his confessional. In a moment, I mean, it's like, how can you be mad at them for doing that? But then again, it's just like, it's their own personal preference. If they weren't feeling it, they weren't feeling it. Just like if they weren't feeling the girls, or if they weren't feeling a certain dude, they would give them a low score. Who's to say? It could be because it might be a homophobic thing. Who knows? But that's their score. I'd rather them keep it real than to just be giving out scores like they ended up saying. Why are we just giving out people 10s just to be giving them out 10s? And it's like, yeah, give the score that you really feel and go on about it. But Dylan, he gave a score that he felt, which he gave a dude and a girl a 1, which I feel like it wasn't the way he felt. I just feel like he was doing it just to be different. But that was it. That was the end of the audition scene. So let's see what else is about to happen. All right, so we get to the next day. The next day, Milan was up on, it looks like to be the rooftop. And everybody ends up piling up and joining them. This is where I say one of these scenes where it seems like you can tell they were put up. When I say put up, like they were instructed to go out there, because everybody starts filing outside all at once, and they all doing the same thing. What's up, what's up, what's up? They acting like they ain't seen each other. And it's like, this is the part where I'm saying it's the produced scene. It's like you could tell the producer said, everybody get up here, y'all have a meeting where y'all discussing what happened last night at the auditions, and then you go ahead and assign roles on who's gonna do what for the music video. And then whenever you do that, break, bye. That's literally what happened to but they all got up in there, and it was basically just recapping the night, recapping the auditions and whatnot, talking about which people that they like and yada yada yada. So then Milan, being Milan, wanting to be the head honcho, he basically says like, we need to split up roles and whatnot in terms of who should do what in terms of getting this music video off the ground. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, that is smart. Like, go ahead and actually work towards doing something instead of sitting here fighting all the time. So he ends up saying that Carry On needs to be the one to kind of like be the creative director, since he's the one who has the most experience being who his father is. So Carry On takes on the role, and he's like, yeah, we need to go ahead and start looking for some spaces, like to shoot the video. Obviously, we need to pick people from the cast, or at least pick some of the guys and the girls that audition, and put them in the scenes and whatnot, kind of have like some type of creative direction. And he splits it up to where Gutta, Dylan, and he wanted Rio to go with him to go pretty much go look for a location. Rio decides he wants to stay back because he wants to choose the girls, and he wants to make sure that his girl gets chosen. Which I'm like, your girl was like a favorite. So in terms of like worrying if she gets chosen or not, I wouldn't think that he should be worried about it. But he stayed back, and Anthony was a little irritated at that because he's like, what is the point in you doing this when we all trying to get something done? Like, just go do what you're trying to do. And he said it feels like his ego came into play, but whatever. So they ended up splitting up and going off, and the rest of the dudes, which is Milan, Moolah, Curtis, Rio, Rails, and Anthony, they stay back and they go ahead and start looking at this. They have a screen up there where they basically have every single person that has auditioned, and then they're just gonna go down the line and choose who they want and who they don't want. So they go down the line and whatnot, just some notable moments. They ended up selecting the table girl, the girl that jumped on the table. They wanted her. This one was interesting right here where number 4, they got to number 4, and it was a girl. She was like a dark-skinned girl, and Rail started laughing because Moolah liked the girl. And Rail started laughing, and then he looks back and is like, I don't even think he said hate to break it to you, but like, that's a trans woman. Like, I went and looked on her Instagram page, and that's a trans woman. And he was laughing, and I know he was laughing because he knew the minute the word trans woman came out of his mouth, Moolah was gonna be pissed. And Moolah was not happy. He was feeling this girl all along as a trans woman. So you already know he was tight about it. He's like, I feel like that's fucked up. I feel like the rules should have been a different type of set. Basically saying, in a way, I guess he felt like there shouldn't be any trans women there or any trans people there because he felt like he was hoodwinked in a way. Which I'm like, that's not helping your case, Moolah. You swearing up and down that you for the people and whatnot. Trans people are people as well. So in a way, he just looked irritated. It's like, you can't be mad at nobody else. I mean, you was attracted to her. I mean, you was attracted to her. That is what it is. Regardless if you knew if it was a woman or a man, you was attracted to her. So at the end of the day, you can't be mad at them. I mean, they had an open casting call, and the trans woman decided to come. She is a person. She is like, she could come and audition for the show. I found that so funny to me. I'm like, finally something interesting to talk about. But he was a little irritated. He didn't want it. Of course, Anthony and I think, who else got a little irritated? I think Anthony and maybe Milan, but Anthony for sure. Anthony's like, the trans woman needs to be like, yeah, she can be here, like representation. And it's like, yeah, in a way, that's true. Like, they're on a show with a bunch of, I mean, there's what, 2 straight guys. I don't know what Rio is. Rio might be straight. Whatever. There's 2 straight guys, maybe 3 straight guys. I guess what? Does Milan like girls? I don't know if he likes girls or not. He might be bisexual. Milan and then Carry On. Carry On's bisexual, but the rest of them, they're like dudes. So predominantly, these are gay dudes. So obviously they're gonna want to have men in the video, and then they're gonna want to have some girls in the video too. But trans people are there too. I don't know if anybody on the show is specifically attracted to trans people, but representation is representation. It's like, if you like the girl and what she did, put her in the video. That's what they basically were saying. Put her in the video. But I just found that interesting. And then it got to a point too where they ended up going down the line, and I guess they realized that they didn't have enough dark-skinned women on the show, or at least picked to be in the music video. So then Curtis brings that up, like, we need to get some dark-skinned girls in here. And it's like, yeah, you do need to get some, like I said, for representation, you do need to get a little bit of everything in there. But then again, it's like what Milan was making sense in this moment. But what he said is like, if the talent's not there, then the talent's not there. And it really depends on what was shown. And if a lot of dark-skinned women showed up and didn't really do too much, then it's like, okay, well, you can't just put them in there just because. But then again, that's just the pick of the litter. Like, y'all just had that light little show out and turn up of people that you didn't really have much to choose from, truthfully. So, I mean, in a way, I agree with Milan. Like, if you don't have what you don't have, then you don't have what you don't have. You don't have to use everybody either. It's just like, choose what was the best and then go ahead and move on. So they ended up getting to the point where they kind of were, in a way, kind of bickering over who they wanted to choose. Somebody wanted somebody else that the other person didn't want. So they basically came to the conclusion that anybody that has a verse on the song, which would be Curtis, Moolah, Milan, and Gutta, they can choose who they want to have in their verse. Because Milan wanted some dude in there, and he gonna get his dude. Curtis wanted the table girl and the one that had him on the table. And then Moolah wanted the first girl. Jarrell was saying too that he wanted to choose for Gutta, and Anthony was like, Gutta don't even like people. Like, how you gonna sit here and how you gonna sit here and pick for him? So they went ahead and picked those people that they wanted to pick, so I guess we're gonna see what's happening. So we get another scene. Basically, we get the scene of, who is it? Carry-On, Dylan, and Gutta going to go look for spaces to shoot. Gutta don't want to be there. Gutta don't want to, he in the mood and whatnot. Gutta, low-key was getting on my nerves in this scene. Like, he was just not trying to do anything. It's just like, okay, so what's the point of you even coming? Just stay at home. But they go out, they looking for these locations. The first location, I don't even know what kind of location they even looked up to go find this location. It's like some dead, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, and there's nothing to really, it's like they're looking behind a gate at a bridge, just like miles away. And it's just like, they're just sitting there looking like, okay, what you think about this? And then just walk away. Like, when you go on to shooting a music video or whatnot, you going and looking around on the property to see what it is. They just stood behind a gate and was looking at a bridge. And I guess that was what they were considering the location option. But they ended up going to another one. Gutta stays in the car because he claimed that he was afraid of heights, aka the only reason why he said that was so he could get out of not getting out the car, or get out of getting out of the car and not going up there to go do it. So he went back there and stayed in the car and slept. So Carry-On and Dylan, they end up going out and looking at it and whatnot. It's kind of like they're on top of a hill and they're basically looking off, and I don't really see much of what they were trying to do there either. So it's, I don't know. But that whole thing was just, it was pointless at this point, because then they get back to the car and see Gutta's knocked out and whatnot. And then that's the end of their little scene. So, I mean, it's just stupid. Like, a lack of content, like I say. But then the next scene is just so fucking random. I'm like, where did this come from? We got Moolah sitting outside, and he's already in, like, some type of mood. Just a random mood. Like, a random mood switch. Like, the whole episode is about trying to, I guess, get this music video off the ground. But Moolah is sitting here dealing with some issues that apparently he's been dealing with for a while. Like, he's a car dealer. He lives in New York. They have a law where you can't have tinted windows in your cars and whatnot. And I guess he was trying to sell a car that had tinted windows. Ends up getting pulled over by the cops. The cops end up wanting to issue him a ticket. And then apparently something happened where the police was basically telling him that he didn't have to get a ticket. But apparently he ended up getting a ticket anyways. And Moolah's taking it as him being racially profiled. Given the climate that we're in right now, I definitely don't disagree with that, and I won't argue with that. It very likely is that reason. But he ended up getting a court date and whatnot. Apparently the police didn't even show up to the court hearing. He's basically talking about how he's gonna go out here and go to all these different radio stations, go into these news stations, and pretty much press the issue that, like, he's being racially profiled. Granted, if it is in fact what it is, then yeah, do that. But to me, this whole scene was just so fucking random. Even though I know it's true and everything that he's saying is definitely something that needs to be spread. Like, the more we talk, it's like, I feel like the more we talk, I don't know, I don't want to say the more we talk, the more the shit's gonna happen, but the more we talk, especially here, given everything that's happened this past week, and just the shit that happened in Buffalo too, we just living in some rough ass times. Like, we living in a dark time right now, which is so just it's in its own right. But this whole scene was so misplaced. I feel like if anything, it should have been maybe an exclusive or like having its own episode or whatnot. But it was just so random, and I'm like, it's a good message, and it's a good message to send. It just didn't feel right. It's like, why would you put this in this episode, especially right there? Like, right there. Like, if anything, you could have put that at the beginning of this next day segment. Like, put that there and then go to them talking about getting the music video and stuff, but whatever. But he said that he's gonna try and fight this and stuff whenever he finishes with Bad Boys. And I'm like, too, also, like, is he gonna end up leaving? That's the whole thing. I was waiting to hear him say, I'm gonna go home and deal with this shit. Well, I don't know. We're about to see. Let's wrap this shit up. Let's get to the reunion, because I'm telling you, this show could have, this shit right here could have been 10 minutes. Like, this whole episode could have been 10 whole minutes. Wrap it up. Like, wrap the season up. Like, the rest of this was pointless. It's like they ended up going back downstairs. It's at the end of the night. They get the stylist in there. The stylist ends up being one of the girls who was actually out there auditioning for the show, for the music video. They start calling that out. Milan, obviously, he's feeling the type of way for some odd reason. He starts shading the girl, saying, like, with the fashions and whatnot, they had these fur coats and whatnot. Moolah liked the fur coat because it was pink and fluffy and whatnot. And they was like, okay, that's kind of odd because it's not what we would think you would go for. But then Milan's sitting there saying, like, if you a stylist, you should probably look at the people's Instagrams and whatnot and see what kind of style they like, which is true in a way, but it's like, damn, this girl don't even know y'all. Like, you can tell she was a plant that was just put in here, just like she was a plant that put in there to audition for y'all's whack-ass music video. But they ended up, like, doing that. That's the rest of the thing is, like, they just go down the line of them picking out outfits. It's like, Zeus, y'all need to have some organization. When you do these shows, you can't just go ahead and put a bunch of people in the house and then just film it. It's like you gotta have some type of plan, exactly. Like I said, with Bad Girls Club, they had a plan. Like they went on a trip and whatnot. The girls were actually, oh, I can't talk. Actively working towards some type of goal. Like they were there for a reason. And like on some shows, like Real World and stuff, they had jobs and stuff. Like there's certain things that you gotta have in place. Like just having these people in the house all the time, it's not a good show. It's boring. It's not Big Brother. But even though with Big Brother, with them being in the house, there's an incentive. There's a reason why they're there. They're basically competing games, and they scheme to get each other out the house and whatnot. This shit is like, it's boring. Like it's whack. Like, but next week they ended up shooting the video. That's literally all it was. They spent half the preview showing them getting ready and showing the girls in the slow motion hero shots, and it's just like, what the fuck? But at least the video shoot, from what I could tell, it looked like it was very well produced. But that looks like that's all we really have left for the season. Jonathan leaving literally killed the rest of the show. Like, he left and the show left with him. Like, Jonathan was the best part of this show, truth be told. Him and Darrell were the two stars of the show. Darrell's been the funniest one for me the entire season. He's been the one that hasn't gotten on my nerves the most besides Jonathan. But like I said, I'm ready to get to the reunion. I'm ready to get to that. I'm ready to see what's about to go down with this baddies South. That's what I'm ready to see. I'm ready to move on to another show. But yeah, that's it. Drop y'all's comments. Let me know what y'all thinking. Thumbs up the video, drop a comment, subscribe, share, do the whole thing that we always do. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Follow me on my socials. That's all down there as well. And I will see y'all next week. Hopefully we can get them to go ahead and film a reunion so we can see that, because that's what I want to see. I want to see if Milan's going to show up, because they're going to get his ass if he do. I'm ready for that. But yeah, this is me signing off. I'll see y'all next week.